button. All right, good evening, you all. So we are officially recording. I want to say, first of all, good evening to everybody. Second of all, I want to say thank you for taking some time to invest in yourself by sharing with me for the next 30 minutes some wealth knowledge and some wealth information that can position yourself for a life that you desire to live. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is that when you hear the information, you move and position yourself for growth and for freedom. And so my name is Camille Westmoreland. I'm originally from the city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I currently reside in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I have been here for almost 10 years. One of the best decisions of my life that I made, because I was able to position myself under some amazing mentorship that has helped me grow and develop, as an adult in so many ways. And so one of the things that my money mentor talked to me about a couple of years ago was cryptocurrency. At this particular point, I was like many of you on the line who knew nothing about cryptocurrency, but all that I knew was that she was sharing information with me. She has results that I desire. So for me, it was like, just follow the leader. Camille, you don't have to know everything to position yourself. And to kind of give you a little background on what we're going to be talking about, I first want to tell you a little bit more about myself. I did everything right growing up. I went to college, got good grades, positioning myself to live the American dream, right? But then it really turned into an American nightmare. And the reason I say that is because I literally positioned myself with all of this student loan debt to really be living paycheck to paycheck for my coworker next to me to be making more money than me, because I had student loan debt and she didn't, right? She had experience. And so that was literally a thing that I kept facing as I went to get my degrees and try to get a job. They're like, but you don't have experience. You don't have experience. So it was like, you mean to tell me I could have skipped college all the way and just got some experience, right? It was a little too late at that particular point. So I was literally sitting in debt upon debt upon debt, not really realizing how I'm going to get out of this situation. And so I knew that I had to take massive action if I wanted to accomplish massive results. And then I even knew at that particular point that everything that I had been doing to that point, I did it because that's what I was told to do. So now it was like, let me go do something I wasn't told to do. They didn't tell me about foreign exchange. They didn't tell me about these different things, right? And so you have to ask yourself, when these things happen, you have to ask yourself, like, why did they keep this from me? Why didn't they tell me this, right? And so that was the mindset I went with. And it was like, okay, it don't make sense, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, it don't make sense, so I'm gonna do it. Because I knew that what made sense to me wasn't working. At one particular point in my life, I was letting my degrees keep me from being great. And this is what I mean. And I say that like humbly, because I worked hard for the degrees that I have, but my degrees did not position me where I wanted to be. And then my degrees kept me from being open to new opportunities because I had a degree. Do you see what I'm saying? So at that particular point, I realized, okay, Camille, this is great that you accomplished these things, but now it's time to think outside the box. Back in 2013, well, really the end of 2012, shortly after I moved to Tennessee, I became a licensed life insurance agent, right? And so in that particular space, I met with people because not only did they want life insurance, but they were looking at ways to set up and create a legacy for them and their children. Mind you, that was almost 10 years ago. And some of those same people I'm talking to now, their money has not even grown as much as they would have hoped. The reality is some people are positioning themselves for retirement, but the money that they have for retirement is not enough to really allow them to retire. They're having to go back to work, or they're finding themselves having to just keep working day in and day out, no matter how old they get, because what money is there is not enough to even have a basic standard of living. The reality is everything is inflated except people's paychecks. Everything is going up but your paychecks. And so that's the reason why tonight I wanted to get on this webinar, because I want to make sure that each of you hear the information that I heard that changed my life. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to make a decision to put you first. It's going to be up to you to make a decision to say, I'm worth all of this and all that I desire. And it's up to you to say, I am willing and I'm going to work to make this happen in my life. I'm not going to keep using excuses that I'm too old or I don't want to learn anymore. And one of the things that I want to make sure that you keep at the forefront of your mind as we share today is, number one, continuing education where your money is concerned is extremely important. Many of us have gone to school, trade schools, beauty schools, all these things. But what happens? You have to keep learning to stay relevant. And this is the same thing that you have to do where your money is concerned. And the reality is the way money moves and the things that are happening financially are constantly changing. I was sitting down talking to someone the other day and I thought about it. I'm like, man, when I first got my first job, I would get a check. And when I got that check, I had to leave work and go to the bank to deposit the check or go to their bank and cash the check. It was no way for them to just send money to my bank account at that particular point. Then what happened? Eventually they were able to do direct deposit. Then what happened? Instead of you having to go into the bank to do checks, you could now put them in the ATM machine. Then what happened? You no longer had to go to the ATM machine and you could take a picture of your check with your phone. Then what happened? Here comes a Cash App. Then what happens? Here comes a Zelle. So do you see how things kept evolving? But the person that did not move with the evolution is still antiquated and then they're wasting time. Things are always happening, but what you don't realize is that there's a cryptocurrency called Ripple. Ripple is the technology behind banking, which is why Cash App lets you send money straight to your bank account in the blink of an eye. Why Zelle allows you to transfer from one person to another at the blink of an eye. So this is what I want you to understand. Cryptocurrencies have a very important space within our world. And the person that is not in position is losing money. The longer you wait to position yourself, the more money that you are losing. So as I continue to talk today, remember the first thing I said just now, continuing education where money is concerned is extremely important. You want to always position yourself around people who are smarter than you, around people that have your answer and not your problem. Position yourself to listen to people who you are willing to switch bank accounts with. If you're not willing to switch bank accounts with them, then their opinion where your money is concerned does not matter. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and jump in here real quick. And we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency and decentralized banking, right? And so Bitcoin, that is the grandfather of all crypto. So you have heard about Bitcoin. It is based off of blockchain technology. Crypto is the Uber of banking, you guys. So I just literally gave you a rundown of how everything has continued to evolve, right? So when you look at Uber, what is Uber? Peer-to-peer, right? I can take my car and go pick up Tom from his house and drive Tom to the airport and I get paid, right? I cut out the middleman of the taxi companies. So that's why many taxi companies and transportation companies do not like Uber, because they shook up the game. Then you have what? Airbnb. Now I have my own property, and instead of you having to go through a hotel, you can now rent my property from me. So we're cutting out the hotels, right? So that's why many hotel systems do not like Airbnb. So now you have decentralized finance and crypto. What is this? Now I have my own bank and I can send Corey money, or I can do whatever I want to do without the banks telling me that I can't take my money out the bank, right? So now I can do that, and now we're cutting the banks out. DeFi, decentralized finance, is the future of banking. You guys, back in September, when President Biden had posted this thing and he was proposing that if you had more than $600 in your bank account, they were going to be tracking every transaction and doing a report. I was like, not on me, they won't, because I was already in position. But the reality is this: people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. The knowledge is there, but if you refuse the knowledge, you refuse the insight, you could be left behind. What if that law would have passed? Many of y'all would have been scrambling like, what to do, right? But this is what and I'm giving you these examples because I want you to pay attention to the financial indicators. While what we're talking about where cryptocurrency is concerned is extremely important, I want you to listen with a different lens. I said, listen, look with a different lens and listen with a different ear, right? I want you to go in open-minded, because when it makes sense, move and figure it out later. That is what I've learned from my mentors. If something makes sense, I may not understand it all, but now I'm gonna take the steps so I can get the understanding, right? So with crypto, as I mentioned, it is the Uber of the banking system. The benefit is peer-to-peer everything. So instead of having my money in Bank of America holding it, and then Bank of America loaning it, and Bank of America telling me that certain transactions can go through and certain transactions can't go through, and then Bank of America giving me less than 0.1%, but they're making thousands upon thousands of percent on my money. In a DeFi banking space, I am really legit able to position myself to be my own bank, and I control what that looks like for me. This is what I need you to get as we continue to talk about this, right? It changes everything. So one of the first things I want to talk about is first of all, centralized finance, because all of us participate in that, right? All of us have a bank account of some sort, and so you're participating in centralized finance. It relies on a central authority. That means there is a group of people or organizations that run that particular entity, and they make the rules of what everything in that particular entity looks like, right? This includes your banks. This includes the Federal Reserve. The thing about it is, because it's ran by these central authorities and ran by different people, it's prone to mismanagement. It's prone to fraud. It's prone to corruption. It's prone to just wasting your time. And I say that nicely, but the reality is, it's a shame when I talk to someone who has been renting for years, and they have a proven track record that they can rent for years, that they can pay their bills on time. But then when you want to position yourself to have an investment and buy a property, they take you through the ringer to prove that you can pay half of what you already been paying for the last couple of years. Do you see what I'm saying? It is a very mismanaged space. And it makes no sense. And so when I heard about this DeFi banking, when I say my mind was blown, I was like, I got to get this information out to every person that is willing to listen to me for 30 minutes. If you're willing to listen to me for the rest of this call, your life is going to be changed. The light bulb is going to go off, and you're going to be like ready to change the game all the way. I can guarantee it. So now that we talked about that, let's talk about this DeFi space a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a collective term for financial products and services that are accessible to anyone who can use Ethereum, which is anybody with internet. Guess what? All of y'all have internet because y'all are on this Zoom with me. And the fact that you're on this Zoom with me means that you have access to Ethereum, which now means you have access to your own decentralized bank. I need you to understand the difference between centralized and decentralized. Centralized, it is ran by a group of authorities. Decentralized, it ain't ran by nobody. It's yours. It is coding, it's programming. The governments hate DeFi because they hate Uber, because they hate Airbnb, because we took the control away. You cannot shut down, the government cannot shut down an entity that has no leader. Do you understand what I am saying? The only way this space could shut down is if governments all over the world at one point mutually agreed to block crypto. But the crazy part about that is those of us who are already in crypto, we good. Those who wait, you left. So you don't want to be left behind. With the DeFi markets, they are open and there are no centralized authorities who can block or deny your access to anything. Literally the other day, I did a transaction and they blocked it. And I'm like, why you block my transaction? I text you and said that I approved this transaction. And then what happened? They said, run the transaction again. I ran the transaction and they blocked it again. So then I called them and they were like, well, are you aware of the transaction? I'm like, yes, I text you. Well, what is the transaction for? My business. Like, that was my response, because it should not matter what I am using my money for. Do you see what I'm saying? So many of you all may relate to that. Many of you all may have been in those scenarios, but if that's your hard-earned money that you work for, it is it makes no sense for anyone to feel like they have any type of authority to approve whether or not you can use your money and how you use your money. You see what I'm saying? So within the DeFi space, services that were slower in risk of human error are now automatic and safer now that they are handled by code that anyone can inspect and scrutinize. So this is very powerful because everything is based off of coding. It's like an open platform for you to see how everything is moving, what's happening. There's no secrecy happening. There's no hidden nothing here or there. That's the thing I love about it. In this particular DeFi space, everybody is a number. I love that. We're actually alphanumeric, if you will. your Ethereum wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, it is all tied to you as a person. But in the DeFi space, they don't even ask you for all that information. They don't ask you for your date of birth. They don't ask you for your social. They don't care your gender. They don't care your race. They don't care your ethnic background. That's the beautiful thing about this space, because think about it. You're trying to buy anything on there. They want to know, are you male or female? Are you black, white, whatever? Are you Latino background? Are you whatever? And even though they don't say it, in these centralized spaces, they rely on that to help them determine what your interest rate gonna be, what these different things are gonna be. But in a DeFi space, all they care about is, do you have the collateral? Do you have the collateral? One of the things that I want y'all to do is look up Brock Pierce. Brock Pierce is an actor from the Mighty Ducks. He was able to use his decentralized bank to purchase a $1.2 million mansion, you guys. He was able to leverage his crypto capital to borrow from his DeFi bank. They didn't care about nothing, no credit check. And like within 24 hours, that money was in his bank account. And so I think I see Tan on the line, you guys. So Tan, she's been with us since April of this year. And she's been an amazing student in the crypto space. And I just want her to come on real quick to briefly share her testimony of how the education allowed her to leverage her decentralized bank to take care of something major that we all can relate to. And so Tan, if you out there, I'm gonna tap you in real quick. Are you there? I felt like I saw you. She on here. Ted, you there? You might have to hit unmute. She might be clothing somebody. Well, Ted, there she
I locked it. I locked it so nobody can unmute, but she should be able to do it now.
Okay, Ted, try again. There she goes.
Hi, thank y'all so much. I'll be real brief. Thank you, Camille. Y'all, she's so excellent. I've tapped into this space based off of her expertise and her knowledge, and they introduced the DeFi banking space to me. And I didn't really know anything about it, but I went ahead and put my 401k in there, my IRA, but something unique happened. I got into a car accident and I received my settlement check, you know, when you total your vehicle. And so I had an older Benz. So, you know, they sent me my little check. Well, instead of me putting it into my Chase bank account where I would incur maybe 0.5% of interest, I put it into the DeFi bank. And I used one of the themes that they teach us to buy low, right? So during this time period, I'm going to the bank to try to get a loan. I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't have any pay stubs. They're asking me for different months' bank accounts. And by this time, this money that I put in the DeFi is growing. And my bank keeps giving me hassle. So again, going back to our educators, I borrowed from the crypto balance that I just put into. I put a huge down payment on a new Benz, and my car payments are less than $200. So I was definitely able to leverage this DeFi space, and I'm definitely going to continue it. And I'm telling everybody that I know about it. Thank you so much, Camille.
Let's go. Y'all blow up the chat. That is a really big deal because many of us can relate to that. Many of us have had things happen with vehicles or different things, and you didn't really know where the money was going to come from. How were you going to make it? Because she has a daughter. She's riding around in a rental car wasting money while she's trying to figure this thing out. So imagine what that would have looked like had she not known about the space. I want to say when she put the money in her DeFi bank, Bitcoin was right around 44, 45, and then it jumped up to the 60. So you know, she was up and stuck, like for real, right? And so she would not have known to do that without being tapped into someone who was smarter than her. This is what I need you to understand. You always want to, if you are the smartest one in the room, you need to change your circle. If you are ever just the smartest person in the room, because you done hit your ceiling because nobody can tell you nothing. She was willing to be a student. She was willing to learn. And that thing paid off. Y'all, she got a brand new Benz. Nobody ain't getting no brand new Benz and paying $160 a month. Nobody ain't doing that. But the beautiful thing about it is this. She was able to leverage her collateral because she needed a car. They don't care when you pay that back. Let's be very clear. This is what I need you to understand. You're leveraging your own crypto. So when you look at, let's just say, for example, Brock Pierce, who was able to borrow 1.2 million, leveraging his crypto to buy his mansion, do y'all realize that he got the deed in hand? He didn't get a lien where he had to pay somebody else back. He leveraged what he had, got his deed in hand. Your DeFi bank is leveraging your crypto as capital, so they don't care when you pay that back. The beautiful thing about it is they gave you the loan, leveraging your crypto as capital, and your crypto still growing. Do you see what I'm saying? It changes the game. It puts the responsibility, it puts the control in our hands. Because if he would have went, or if she would have went and got a loan from somewhere, as soon as 30 days was up, you already paying that thing back. So what is she doing now? She wants to pay herself back in her bank. So what is she doing? She's leveraging her residual. She's leveraging the platform, growing her crypto portfolio, doing her trading to pay herself back. She's not having she has the control of what that looks like. This is what I need you to understand. So let me keep going. And I'm going to show you here on this next slide right here. This is literally what your bank will look like. Okay, so once you get plugged in, we're going to help you set up your bank. So just like you have Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Chase, you have like your multiple checking and savings account in one login. So within your decentralized bank, you have multiple crypto accounts. So it's up to you what cryptos you choose to hold in what accounts, right? And the beautiful thing about it is you're making up to 8 to 12% a year on your cryptos, but that does not even include the capitalization that happens as cryptos continue to grow. And as we get to the next couple of slides, I'm actually going to show you using Bitcoin as an example of what that can look like, right? And so one of the things that I want to point out too is that as you're putting money into your DeFi bank, you're immediately getting a credit line. So this is what I want you to understand how DeFi banking works. Roughly on average, you're looking at roughly about 40 to 50% credit line based off of your balance, right? So this person has 485K. They immediately gave them a 204,000 credit line. Imagine you got a kid that's about to go to college and you don't want them to get loans. And you're like, oh, I can go ahead and pay for your first full year, $20,000. They can immediately say, I need $20,000. They don't care what you're using it for. Within 24 hours, that money's in your bank account. And this is what I need you to understand about the DeFi space. When this hits your bank account, it hits your bank account as a loan. It is not income. This is game changer. So you mean to tell me in a decentralized space where they don't care about your name, date of birth, social security number, they gonna send money to your bank account that cares about your name, date of birth, and social security number, but it's considered a loan, so it's not income for you, and so that is nothing that has to be reported and sent to the IRS. Do you understand? Exactly. It's no taxes because it's not income. It is a loan. I need y'all to hear me. I need y'all to feel me, right? If that makes sense, put some fire in the chat. If you just got a light bulb. I need you to put some fire, some eyes, some something in the chat. Do you understand? Y'all be getting me lit on these calls. Y'all be getting me lit. Okay, so let's keep talking about this, because this changes the game for a lot of people, because the reality is all of us are pushing towards retirement. Whether that's retiring in your 50s or 60s or 70s or 30s or 40s, you determine when you want to retire, but we have to take control now so we can determine what type of life we're going to live after retirement. I personally believe that any person that retires, that they should not have to downsize or downgrade. I think they should be able to flourish and live whatever life they desire to live, you know? And so let's kind of talk about this. So when I do my life insurance, I don't do life insurance that much anymore. I do talk to people about wealth strategies where crypto is concerned. But one of the things I want to point out to you, let's talk about this real quick. This is Bitcoin right here. Remember, the grandfather of all cryptocurrencies. And so right here, I want to make sure that you can see how Bitcoin has grown over the last 11 years. Every October since 2010, okay? It went from 6 cents to $5 to $12 to $125, $380. 2014 to 2015 so far has been the only year that Bitcoin has dropped, okay? It is the only year that Bitcoin has dropped, but that drop doesn't mean a lot when you've been growing thousands upon thousands of percent every year, right? So then it goes from 237 and almost triples to 615. Then it like quadruple, right? To 4,400. 6,600, 8,400, 12,000, and we just recently hit $66,000 in 11 years. So put it in more of a percentage perspective. This is what I want you to see. In the first year, it grew 8,000%. 8,000%. Some people's retirement over 40, 50 years ain't even gonna grow 8,000%. Okay? And then it grew 240%, another 1,000%, 300%. It lost 62%. It grew 260%, 700, 100, 100, 100, 500%. There is no product, there is no tool, there is no investment strategy that is producing the way crypto is producing. And I need you all to really understand that, because if you don't tap in, this is why I say, the longer you wait, the more money you're losing. The longer you wait, the more money you're losing. It is about applying the principle now. It is about positioning yourself now. It is about investing in yourself now. Many times we look at opportunities and ways that we can grow, and then we say, I can't afford. Let me tell you something. You can afford to be broke, or you can afford to be wealthy. You get to pick. Being broke is hard. Being wealthy is hard. Choose your heart. You got to be willing to put in the work at the end of the day. And so within the platform, let me actually show y'all this real quick. I want to point this out. And one of the things that I've said, and I've heard somebody say, 1 year in crypto is literally like 15 to 20 years somewhere else, right? In a traditional space. And so this particular coin is called Solana. And this is a coin that plays along with the DeFi banking space, right? So I'm going to show you what a year in cryptocurrency could look like for you. So a year ago, Solana was sitting at $1.92. So y'all can pull y'all calculators out with me if you want to. But let's just say you took $175, and I'm just picking a number. We're going somewhere. And you bought this particular coin that was sitting at $1.92. That would give you 91 coins. This is what I want you to pay attention to. So last year, this time, exactly 12 months ago, $175 would have gave you 91 coins. What do you see the market is at today, where one coin is? $237.53. Somebody put in the chat, how much money is that? $237.53 times 91. Somebody put in the chat. Somebody put it in the chat for me. I already know the answer, but I want you to put it. Thank you. $21,615.23. You would have made $21,000 in a year off of $175. Do you understand what I am saying? This is why the education is important. This is why fighting for your access is important. Yes, your mind should be blown. And what I need you to understand is because I wanted to shift from Bitcoin because everybody thinks since Bitcoin is broke 60,000 is too late. We have over 7,000 cryptocurrencies out there. Exactly. There is no bank out there giving that kind of interest. We have over 7,000 cryptocurrencies. You have access to 100 plus educators within this platform. Within our crypto space, we have at least 20 of them that are teaching you live where crypto is concerned. You're getting live mentorship designed around your schedule and your busy life. You're able to access them on a full-time level around your schedule. You're able to ask them questions. They're going to teach you everything that you need to know. Remember what I said at the beginning, you need continuing education where your money was concerned or is concerned. And everything is continually evolving. So it's not to plug in to learn a little bit and then be like, I got it. And then you miss 5 months that feel like 50 years because so much has changed. Some things you have to treat. I treat my access to my company like I treat my light bill and my cell phone bill. Period, at the end of the day. Because I have major goals that I want to accomplish for myself. I got major goals that I want to accomplish for my family, but I had to realize, Camille, you're still trying to get to where you're trying to get. So you got to go hard so that you can be the big giver to your family and your friends that you want to be, but you got to have yourself together first. You can only help somebody so much until you arrive. So sometimes you have to jump in and just focus on yourself and grind hard and grind hard and grind hard so that you can then be the blessing to people you desire. And you know, when it comes to retirement, I want everybody on this line to be able to live the life that they desire. But at the same time, we can't just sit back and depend on the government and depend on our 401ks and our Roth IRAs when they're not even keeping up with inflation. You know, people pride themselves in having a 401k and all this stuff, but those things are pre-tax dollars. What does that mean? They're going to tax your tail when it's time to grab it, right? You don't know what the tax rate is going to be at that point. So sometimes you have to be willing to get out of the box. I saw something on social media and I was like, they were talking about how it's so hard for people to get out the box because your bed is a box, right? Because, you know, the chair you sit in is a box. Like they were giving all these examples of how subconsciously everything that we do on a daily basis, we are surrounded by a box in some form or another. So when it's time to get out the box, it's a greater challenge. But I promise you, once you get yourself out the box, you're positioning yourself for a greater plan for your life. And so one of the things that I created and with my team is like, I want to help position people for retirement. Regardless of what that looks like for you, it's time to take massive action. Really, honestly, just straight plugging into cryptocurrency education, being a student, you're going to live the life that you desire to live by just applying the principle, because as you're applying the principle and seeing growth, it's going to provoke you to want to produce more. But one of the things I want to talk to you about that the wealthy do is leverage other people's money. Put it in the chat, OPM in the chat, other people's money. This is how the rich get richer, right? This is how the rich get richer. And so with this retirement plan 1000 I created, we wanted to show you how you can leverage other people's money through residual income of $1,000 a month. And I want to break this down to you. And we got the amazing Randy Webb on the line. So y'all put some fire in the chat because he opened my eyes to this. And I was like, shucks, it's on now. Everybody retiring wealthy if they know me, right? And so with this particular platform, the company, OPM, I Am Mastery Academy, is willing to give you $1,000 a month just for tapping in another person that is willing and wants to create and leverage cryptocurrency for their retirement. So let me tell you what this looks like. $1,000 a month. Your access to this platform is about $175 to $275 a month, depending on what you choose. After the company has paid for your access, you now have 600 plus that you could put into your crypto machine. You could put it all or just 600 or whatever, really whatever you want to do. It just depends on your level of aggression towards your retirement goals. So 30 people who desire to build a crypto portfolio for retirement positions you for $1,000 residual every single month. And this is why this is important. Let's talk about this 600 real quick. So earlier in the presentation, I showed you how we literally take, how Bitcoin has grown every year after year after year, right? And so in some aspects, there is a doubling effect that has happened with Bitcoin. And so if you were to take that $1,000 a month and you put 600 a month into your crypto portfolio, and Bitcoin is experiencing that double effect, even though it may not double in price, you know, there are fluctuations in the market. So within the academy, you're going to learn how to ride the wave of buying low and selling high to double your portfolio. So let's just say that doubling effect happens. That $7,200 you invested is now $14,000. That next year, you're still investing $600 a month of OPM, other people's money, and now you up to $21,600 in investments, but it doubles to $43,000. You keep repeating that process. In 7 years' time, you could be upwards of $1.8 million. Let me tell you something. Some people used to think they arrived if they had $100,000. Like $1 million is the new low in my eyes. And until I tap it, I ain't ready. I got more work to do. I need to actually tap a couple million before I could really do the things that I want to do for myself and for my family. That's why my head is down so hard, because when you make impact in other people's lives, the money will come. So ask yourself, whose life can I impact? With this information that I'm hearing, who do I know that needs to hear this that can change their life, right? And so you keep positioning yourself to keep doing it over and over and over. Yes, it is on. Now, some people might be like, I don't know, that's a little aggressive. We have some conservative options, but I'll guarantee you by the time I show you the conservative options, you're like, no, I want to go all in, because the reality is our jobs and these Roth IRAs and these 401ks are not going to produce the way that this space is producing. And governments and entities know that, which is why they try to make people fearful of going into spaces like this, fearful of going into spaces that's unknown. I remember people telling me they was unsure and thought that crypto was a scam when Bitcoin was sitting at $500. I remember when Bitcoin was sitting at 3,000, they thought it was a scam. Now it's at 66,000. They're like, tell me about Bitcoin. I'm like, yo, I was trying to tell you, you know, about 50 bands ago. You know what I'm saying? But the beautiful thing about it is not too late. It is not too late to position yourself. But I just want to show you this to give you perspective. For the person that still wants to get in crypto, but they like, that's a little aggressive, I don't know. We have options where there are what are called stable coins, where you can grow up to 12% annual ROI. You're securing your principal. Remember, our banks don't even give us like 0.01% a year. So if you're a little more conservative, you can still leverage this and make up to 12% a year. But I want to make 8 to 12% on top of the capitalization of cryptos. So when you look at this after 7 years, you up almost $200,000, but that $200,000 ain't gonna last that long. You see what I'm saying? So 1.8 or 2K, 200K, it's up to you. Whichever you choose is right. It's right for you, and we gonna help you. Period. At the end of the day. But I'm gonna be looking at you sideways while I help you, but I'm gonna help you. Okay, so I know you're probably like, what's next? What's next is that you need to get tapped into the education. You need to get tapped into the platform. And for the person that's on the line, like, this sounds all good, but I need to do some research first. No, you don't. And let me tell you, IM Master Academy understood the assignment when they created this platform for you. This particular platform, as I mentioned, you have access to 100 plus educators. These are people that have been vetted by our company. They had to turn in their trading history and their education to be vetted by the top level within our company, our CEO, right? Before they were even able to present anything to us. Many people try to go to YouTube University and you really don't know the credentials and the qualifications of those particular people. So now within the platform, you're positioned to earn while you learn. You're positioned to cheat off somebody's paper and make money. When I was in college, if we cheated, we got kicked out of school or suspended. This is the first place where we can all work together to learn and grow. So this is what the academy looks like, where you're able to see every educator, the days and times that they teach. The beautiful thing about it is that if you can't get on with the educator at a certain time, their replays are available. One of the first things that y'all are gonna watch when you get plugged into the academy is that we're gonna send you over to Coach Curtis Cobain under his favorite sessions, and he has a video that everyone needs to watch, which is Crypto Security 101. The thing about it is people try to jump into crypto and don't know anything. And then their coins are susceptible to be stolen. And then they don't know what they're doing. And then somebody say, if you send me 500 in Bitcoin, I'm gonna send you 5,000. And then you calling me because you got scammed out of money because you was trying to get rich quick instead of being a student, wasting money. We're alleviating all of that for you. And on top of that, you also have access to your own academy that's self-paced. 4 to 5 minute videos teaching you everything. You have your exchange handbook for crypto. You're gonna learn what are digital currencies. You're gonna learn about spreads and time frames and wallets and keys, everything that you need to know to be positioned. Also, you guys, you're gonna have access to what I love is Swipe Trades. It is an app on your phone. These 7, 8, and 9-figure educators are behind the scenes analyzing, looking at these crypto markets outside of their traditional live sessions that we attend to let us know when it's time to buy Ethereum again, or when it's time to buy Ripple again, or when it's time to buy Bitcoin again. You see what I'm saying? They're giving us the answers to the test. We just choose if we're gonna copy or not, right? These are trade ideas for you to make a determination from an investment standpoint if that is something that you choose or you want to do. So not only are they doing that, there are tools like the Swipe Coin Scalper that will also give you ideas from the educators, and they will mark a chart to tell us when to be looking for buys and when to be looking for sales. For example, this is actually really great. Let me see if I can zoom. And I know you don't know what you're looking at, but I promise you, you tap in, you're gonna learn. Okay, so this is what I want you to see. He told us if this candle breaks and closes above 64,418, it confirms a buy. So all you're looking for is a candle to close above this black line. Look what happened. As soon as this candle closed, what happened? The market went up. Your money is up. It can't get no easier than that, you guys. So this is what you're getting access to. So what you want to do is go ahead and text the person. Yep, it's a great trade. What you want to do is text the person that invited you to the call and say, send me the link. I am ready to get started. We have 2 package options that you can pick from. First, we have our elite package, which gives you access to everything I Am Mastery Academy has to offer, which is the cryptocurrency, what we talked about today, but you may also have interest in learning foreign exchange and high frequency Forex. So that's really the best bang for your dollar. But even beyond that, you can do our digital currencies education package only. For the person that's like, I love everything that you said with crypto, I'm ready to jump in and let that be my baby. And then eventually I will add Forex and HFX on later. That is a perfectly great option as well. We just want to make sure that you position yourself where the future of banking is going and be fully equipped. The beautiful thing about it is for a limited time right now, you can start your DCX pack for $185. It's normally $235 to get started, but you're able to get plugged in now for only $185. So what I want you to do is go ahead and get back with that person, fight for your access, fight for the future of your money, fight for your retirement, because that $185 can replace itself really, really quick. Do you see what I'm saying? that $175 a month can replace itself really, really quick for the person that's willing to be a student and the person that's willing to push. So do me a favor and go ahead and get back with the person that invited you on this call. Let them know I am ready to get started. I am ready to set up my future. And I realize that the longer I wait, the more money I'm losing. I don't want you all losing any money going forward. And you have to be willing to invest in yourself. It takes money to make money at the end of the day. And so with that being said, I thank you all for spending some time with me tonight. Go ahead and get back with the person that invited you on the call and let them know that you're ready to get started. Also, in the next hour and 15 minutes, back on this same link, our leader, Dr. China Bethley, will be on the line sharing more information for anybody else. So as you've been listening, if it's someone else that you want to hear this information, go ahead and invite them to the call. And so with that being said, let's make it a great night. And I will see you guys on the other side of money. God bless.